7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Welcome into the newest edition of the Vegas Squares podcast. We are here in the virtual Zoom studio. We got myself, we got Token Tony, we got Spike, and we've got the audio version of Bobby Digital.
That make him Bobby Analog today?
Bobby Auditory.
There we go. Oh shit! Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's
Bobby, where you at, brother?
It's Bobby on tape.
Is that a cordless phone you're on, or is that still connected to the port?
This isn't the audible version of Bobby Digital today. It's what you get.
All right, we'll take what we can get right now. I mean, we're all obviously appreciative of the fade options you gave us on the last podcast for the what the hell is the name of the tournament? Traveler. Yeah. Spike, fuck off. Token, how you doing?
Ah.
Not bad. Living the dream with hot peppers. I'm going to start growing some hot peppers now, and
God, he is.
Who knows what will happen with that?
Dude, I love the fact that you have like the most outrageously strange hobbies, but they intrigue me.
Yeah. If I grow some.
Grow. I thought you said
you guys
grill.
are interested. If you guys are interested, I'll hand out some.
Dude,
if they actually do grow.
Let me put it to you this way. You know Papa John's Pizza, how they have the little roncini in the box?
Yeah.
I'm scared to try that. So let's not get too crazy into hot peppers.
No, fair enough. Yeah, I had one today. I ate half of it raw, and I used the other half to cook in it. And that's like the second hottest pepper in the world. So
that's fair. All right, well, we've got some breaking news to talk about today. Cam Newton signed with the Patriots, and I think we all have varying opinions on that. So before we dive in, let's thank the sponsors here real quick. First and foremost, obviously, shout out to 12 Ounce Sports Network, where we are broadcasted in both audio and video formats. You can check out all the shows at 12ozsportsradio.com. Please make sure while you're there to check out the 12 Ounce store, where you can find everything from 12 ounce t-shirts, which I have on right now, that you can see right there. And they have coffee mugs, beach towels, golf polos, you name it. They've got it over there with the 12 ounce logo. Also, you can catch us on Zingo TV. It is a streaming service on your iPhone, Android device. It is always free when you use the code 12OZ at signup. It is 100% free. I personally prefer to use it on my phone so I can take it, sit on the back porch, and watch it while the fire is going, even though it's the middle of summer right now. But the fire feels nice because down here, or I guess up here, Spike, you know this, in the mountains, it gets a little more chilly than it does down in the valley. So
a little bit, 5 to 10 degree difference. Not bad.
Also, don't forget Wicked Cuts Jerky. Token, if you're tired of the same old bag of bland jerky, which I know you are, they got two new flavors, Applewood Smoked Bacon and Carolina Killa, which you just talked about growing hot-ass peppers. I want to see you take a piece of Carolina Killa and a hot-ass pepper and then just mix and match. If you want to pick up a bag today, they are available at local nutrition shops, or you can go online, Wicked Cuts with a Z.co. And if you go online, use promo code WICKED20 at checkout, you can get 20% off of your purchase. Breaking news before we started recording is Cam Newton has now signed a one-year deal with the New England Patriots, which Bobby Digital and I were talking a few podcasts ago that this was one of the what-ifs. We were talking about Jameis Winston maybe going to the Patriots, Cam Newton. Bobby, take us back to that podcast and your thoughts when that happened, when we were talking about it, and now that it's actually come to fruition. Like it, dislike it, love it, don't care. What are your thoughts on this one there, Bobby?
Well, basically a couple of months ago when we were talking about it, it was down to Stidham, and you were talking Andy Dalton, and we were talking maybe Jameis Winston. I think Cam Newton is the best of that bunch. I mean, he is banged up, he is a little bit older, and he's not the same Cam Newton that won the MVP, but he's still a lot better than that batch of shit that they had on that list there. I think it's a good signing. 7.5, I think most of it is incentive laden. I think it's a decent pickup, man. He's not Tom Brady, he's not TB12, but he's going to win some games for them this year.
Yeah, I think we've got to, and I put my Patriots hat on here because, as you guys probably know if you listen to the podcast, Spike and I are both Patriots fans. As I put this hat on, Spike, I know the direction you're going to go with this, but I think Patriots fans and the rest of the league, it's time to turn the page. Tom Brady is gone, and yes, and no disrespect to Bobby because it's not a cliche, but everybody does say this guy's no Tom Brady. Nobody's Tom Brady. That guy is on a Mount Rushmore with one face, his own. I mean, you can say Peyton Manning, you can say Joe Montana. Nobody is Tom Brady as far as achievements goes. So turn the page on that. Spike, I know you want tank for Trevor.
Yep.
So signing Cam Newton is kind of anti that movement.
Yeah, it kind of screws me up a little bit. Objectively, I understand that for the betterment of the team, no team is actively going to try to tank unless you're in the NBA. So in the NFL, teams are going to play to win. They play to win the game, so to speak.
Thank you, Herm.
So I get that logic of trying to sign what they think is going to be the best option for them at quarterback to help them win games. In this case, Cam Newton is better than the pile of shit they had between Stidham and Hoyer. So I get that it helps them win games. I just think that this short-term solution to win games in this season is going to hurt them long-term if they can't pick up, get the high draft pick that they need to get a Trevor Lawrence or whomever else it may be. And I don't like the move for the long-term solution. For the short term, I think it's great. I think it makes them competitive in the AFC East, which they weren't until they made this signing. I think Buffalo's still the class of that division, which is just baffling to say. You never thought you'd say that 20 years ago, but that is the fact of the matter now. It's just I would much rather see them throw away one season so that they can have a good decade or et cetera moving forward than just trying to win a couple of games this year just to try to save face. I don't like it.
Well, Token, what happens if Cam Newton actually performs up to this incentive-laden contract? Because we're right, it's a 1 year, $7.5 million deal. As far as I know, that it's basically, I think it's about $1 million with the rest incentives. So is there a shot here that this is the guy? I mean, if he was, I don't know why Belichick waited so long, but there's a method to that guy's madness that no one's ever been able to figure out in the last 20 years. But is there a chance that this is the quarterback of the future for the New England Patriots? I mean, we've all kind of sit here and said that he's probably on the back nine of his career, but at the same time, I mean, some of these quarterbacks can play till they're 40 years old.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. And I think it really relies on how he comes back after the last year that he had with all his injuries and how he performs this year. That's probably why they only signed him for $1 million. And I mean, they got him for a steal pretty much if he's going to be a starter for max of $7.5 million. So, I mean, there's a lot of cap room to work around too if you have a starting quarterback with that low of a cap hit.
Yeah, and Bobby, the real question is he the starter, or is this just another camp arm? Because we've seen this before when guys come into the camp who are recognizable figures. Sometimes it doesn't really work out. I mean, this guy's coming off many injuries. He's obviously shown on social media that he's ready for a comeback/revenge tour. But the fact of the matter is he even the starter or even competing to start? Or is this just Jarrett Stidham? You've got a real short leash with Cam Newton and Brian Hoyer, breathing down your neck.
That's what I think we got here. We have a 4-week tryout, and he is undoubtedly the starter. I think if they get off to that terrible start, then they might Spike might get his wish for the tanking. Because if this doesn't work, if they go 1-3 after 4 weeks, that's the end of Cam Newton. He's not going to be around anymore because they just lose $1 million or whatever is guaranteed. See, but now Spike, I can understand how you're wanting to tank for Trevor thing, but how are the Patriots? They're not that fundamentally fucked up where they can lose 2 games, right? There's so many NFL teams that are just bad that there's a whole lot of other teams that are going to lose a lot more games than the Patriots, no matter who's the quarterback, right?
Theoretically, I mean, the Patriots' defense is still solid, especially the back seven or back eight, depending on their formation. The skill weapons, obviously losing Gronk. I mean, Gronk hasn't been Gronk for a while. He was retired last year, obviously. So, but not having him is something. I mean, they have pieces. They have some good talent. I think Sony Michel is going to be an interesting case study. I think the offensive line is still pretty solid, assuming they keep Tooney, which it sounds like they're going to now. I think there were ways that they could get into a mindset of fuck it, doesn't matter, do whatever you need to do. If they lose games, they lose games. If they win, they win, and you kind of move forward. But I think there were plenty of opportunities for them to just stand pat, not do anything. And yes, other teams are worse, but I think the Patriots could find a way to lose some of those games.
Well, you see kind of token here, like how the signing is graded by what the fan wants the direction of the team to go. Spike's not loving it. He wants the tank. He wants the 0-16. I want to stay competitive here in this spot, and I was okay with Stidham because it was kind of a win-win. If he was great, maybe you do have the rest of, or the next, number 12, or at least a version of it, or maybe even somebody who was as good as Jimmy Garoppolo is, someone who can continue to win games under Bill Belichick. And if he sucked, then you could still kind of tank for Trevor. ESPN token already has in the depth chart Cam Newton slated as QB1. So I don't know. Not saying ESPN. I mean, obviously they have more of an inside jump than I do in the Patriots locker room, but I don't know if I buy that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I buy that either. I mean, based on previous performance, possibly, but however, we got to go based on the now and what could be the future, and I'm not sure if I'm buying either. I mean, like you said, it could be a toss-up for starting quarterback week 1, and who they go with, we'll find out then, hopefully so.
Well, I mean, by the same measure, I mean, Spike, just flip your philosophy here and say that you want to, continue the winning tradition here. I mean, you're looking at grabbing a quarterback with a career 59% completion percentage. He has one good year. He's Matt Ryan. He's an average quarterback, in my opinion. So for a fan who wants success to continue, yes, while he may be the most accomplished quarterback now in the locker room, I don't necessarily know if he's the best going forward. Couple that, Spike, with the fact that we've seen Cam Newton's attitude on display several times. Is that shit gonna fly in New England?
Oh, definitively not. But winning cures all. And like I said, I think they have the offensive line. I think they have a good enough defense, and I think they have some weapons around. Plus, you combine that with Belichick and, dare I say, Josh McDaniels, and you may be able to string together some wins, in which case Cam Newton becomes the quiet and kind of placid Cam Newton, where he doesn't throw the fits and he doesn't, go ape on the sidelines and, doesn't throw hissy fits and the whole thing. The flip side of that is when he is winning and when he is playing well, he is a solid citizen. I mean, just an unbelievable guy off the field, great personality. He's a guy that you can definitely market if you're the team, as the leader of the team, and if he plays well, you can sign him to a couple years extension and let him ride out maybe even the rest of his career. All that said, there's no guarantee that he stays on the field. This dude hasn't been able to stay healthy in a while. So that's going to be the big concern. I know that this contract is incentive laden, and that's the incentives are coming because of the injury history. If he can't stay on the field, he's not going to hit those incentives, and therefore it's such a low-risk contract that for the team it makes a lot of sense.
Now, Bobby, I'm looking at Cam Newton's stats right here, just record-wise. He's only got 3 years, Bobby, of over 500 records. Obviously, we know about the Super Bowl year. They went 15-1. He won the MVP. Again, I like to look at these quarterbacks. You have your outliers. I would say 2015. That's an outlier. I would say the year they went 5-8-1. We'll cross those out. That's the year right before he won the MVP. You look at the rest of it. He's got 12-4 in 2013. He's got 11-5 in 2017, and the rest of it's pure dumpster fire as far as win-loss record. And Spike, you hit it on the head. When things are going well, you're right. I have no issues with Cam Newton off the field. I'm sure. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I've never heard a bad thing about him off the field. But he's the guy, Bobby. When things are going right, he's partying with his teammates, and when things aren't going right, he's got his towel over his head and he's whining. And I don't even think Bobby's there. All right. Well, Token, I'll pass that to you then.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's pretty much go with the flow, but however, once things hit the fan, he tries to run away from it and hide either himself or his problems. And
well, how often do you ever remember, and I'm going to go back to him, but how often do you ever remember Tom Brady like refusing to do an interview or putting blame on anybody else but himself, or even ever saying, you know, these people have to play better? He's always, we have to play better. This is the team. And I'm not saying Cam Newton can't do it. He just hasn't been able to prove that he can do it.
yeah, it seems like he definitely has a lot different leadership than TB12 for sure. And I mean, he everything's a team compared with TB12 compared to Newton. When everything is going great, and even when his numbers aren't looking great, he takes all the credit. But
Yeah,
once those big losses come out and all that, he just runs away from them, it seems like.
Now, Spike, is there actually a chance that Belichick thinks that he can tank and use Cam Newton to do so because he's washed up?
I
Or is
would
that-
say
I mean,
very little.
Yeah, it's a little far-fetched, but it's a thought.
Yeah,
It's
I
possible.
mean, theoretically, you know, like I said, with Cam's history of injuries, it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility that he gets some kind of season-ending injury, you know, before the midpoint of the season, or he gets an injury that knocks him out for enough time that Belichick is justified by starting Stidham and letting him run the team, and then Belichick can, you know, just kind of say, you know, they're going to run with Stidham and Cam just never quite recovers or whatever the case. You know, they can cook the books essentially on this injury if they wanted to, and assuming that he does actually get injured. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, but I think if they're signing Cam Newton, they're signing Cam Newton in order to win more games than they would with whatever quarterbacks they have on the roster now. And that means that the idea of tanking has to go out the window, which means that they are spending money to try to win games, which I'm not a fan of either of those things, spending money or winning games for this team.
I mean, how does this help Stidham? Because it seemed like between the initial free agency period and the draft, all signs pointed to Jarrett Stidham being the starter. So to me, this doesn't seem, Token, that Cam Newton's QB1. I know we just talked about, you know, the 4-game audition for Cam Newton. I don't think he's QB1 going into the freaking training camp.
Yeah, I mean, based on how it happened last year and all that, I mean, when he was on the field, he looked pretty bad. I mean, yes, he was probably injured at that time, but I mean, you got to go based on that previous knowledge. And
the thing I hope that doesn't come up, and I'm not trying to go down a road here to try to get, you know, too crazy. I really hope, because I know a lot of people based on track record believe that Cam Newton today is better than Jarrett Stidham, and that may be true. Whether you believe it or not, my issue is that if Jarrett Stidham does become the QB1 and doesn't start off as well as, you know, I assume Bill expects him to, could we see a lot of a racial issue that Cam Newton's not on the field when there's a lot of people who would believe he's better than Stidham? Could we have an issue with that here in the beginning of the season if things don't start out well for the Patriots?
yeah, I mean, I could foresee that if Stidham is definitely the starter and he doesn't perform.
I mean, we see it with Kaepernick. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure Kaepernick's better than a lot of backup quarterbacks in this league and a lot of third stringers. But Cam Newton, while on a smaller scale, brings the media circus, not like Kaepernick would bring if he signed to the team, but it's going to bring a situation that I don't think the Patriots have seen a social media issue regarding them in the last 20 years, with the exception of the slight mention of there being a rift between Brady and Belichick. 2 years ago, Spike, you brought it up a few podcasts ago about the rift between Brady and Belichick, and now Brady's being out of town. But, Spike, as a Pats fan, you don't want – remember when Tebow came in and you're like, I don't want this media circus. Why is he here? He's not starting. He's a camp arm. Why is he even in here? Because he brings unnecessary attention into the locker room. I kind of feel like Cam Newton does the same. So unless Belichick intends to start him, it doesn't make sense to me.
No, if it was – I can't imagine that Belichick would try to create a media circus, but if he really wanted to do something like that, it would have been Kaepernick, not Newton, that got the contract.
Well, not necessarily. I agree with you, but the media circus I'm talking about is there are people there who think Cam Newton is better than Jarrett Stidham. I'm one of them at this point in time, just based on track record. Maybe the actual talent level right now might not be there, but based on history, Cam Newton is a better option. He may not be a better fit. He may not be a better quarterback in the long run. There are going to be social media issues and maybe even issues on ESPN, et cetera, that say that if Jarrett Stidham doesn't win week one or doesn't look good week one, they're already calling for his head, and they're saying that why is Cam Newton not in QB1 position?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that, but
we're not going to be doing that with Brian Hoyer.
No. But even with Cam Newton's track record of having winning seasons in the past, he's not getting paid like a quarterback one. He's not getting paid like he's guaranteed the starting job. So I think with the salaries that he's getting, that Stidham's getting, that Hoyer's getting, Belichick is saying that this is anyone's job and he wants the three of them to fight for it. And if people are, if he decides to start Stidham week one and he goes out there looking terrible and people start second guessing it, Belichick is just going to say that through camp, through the preseason, through whatever metrics Belichick decides to put on it, he thought that Stidham gave him the best chance to win now, therefore Stidham won the job. It's going to be cold, hard, calculated facts, and it's just Belichick being Belichick. So
I agree with that, but sometimes the court of public opinion doesn't see the same way.
Do you think that Belichick gives a rat-flying fuck about the court of public opinion?
No, but it creates – how often in 20 years, with the exception of that one little blip, how often in 20 years were we talking about unrest in the Patriots locker room?
Never.
Maybe Jamie Collins. That's it.
Yeah. And he was shipped out of town as soon as but that was him causing issues. That wasn't the media causing issues.
Correct. I'm just saying the media can definitely do it if they want to. And, now you have, after the Brady-Belichick marriage is over, now you have the text messages now where Brady's texting this quarterback coach, oh, football's fun again. I feel like that was a subtle dig toward Belichick. Who was the guy when the Eagles won the Super Bowl that said, I'd rather win one ring and have fun than win six and be miserable?
Oh, I remember that quote. Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So it just seems like everybody now, after everything has been accomplished, now they're throwing their little grenades at the New England Patriots. So now that the floodgates have opened, the Trojan horse is driven in. I don't know. I just feel like the media firestorm. I think there could be a media issue this year. I know you're right. Bill Belichick is going to do everything in his power to make sure that the media doesn't infiltrate this organization. But the Alex Guerrero situation, it felt like over the last 5 years, there was little pricks that kind of just let the water out,
Yeah. And I agree with that to a certain extent, but I think part of that was there was nothing else to criticize this team about. They were boring otherwise. So the media kind of had to make shit up in order to sell papers, especially the Boston papers.
Right.
They had to do something in order to create controversy. This is why guys like Felger and Maserati on WEEI in Boston, they're rated number one, not because people like them, But because people hate them, because Felger goes out and trolls them with unpopular opinions, because he knows that people are going to get angry, they're going to listen, they're going to call in. It's the Bill O'Reilly syndrome. It's you say shit to cause a stir to get people watching because you don't know what they're going to say. Howard Stern did the same thing. Bill
Colin
Imus did
Cowherd.
the same thing. You know, it's the same kind of shit where you just go out, you say something that maybe you don't even believe in it, but you know that the rest of the people listening are going to disagree with you. And, you know, Felger's made no apologies for it. He's born and bred Wisconsin. He's a Packers fan doing sports radio in Boston. So he can go out and he can troll them and not worry about retribution because, you know, what does he care? He's a Packers fan. And not only that, but they're getting great ratings because of it. So I think, but that was the problem is that, you know, they won games. They were boring. Brady was a perfect citizen. Belichick wouldn't say anything to the media. The assistant coaches weren't allowed to speak to the media. Everybody was very well coached in what they could and couldn't say when they had a microphone in front of them. So the media had to make shit up. And this is, you know, this is just the product of now that Brady's gone, now they see a chink in the armor, so to speak, so they can go out and they can start writing their trash tabloids and try to, you know, create controversy where there is none to try to get, you know, quotes and whatever else to sell papers or whatever they're doing these days.
Fair enough. That's okay. That's a good explanation. I accept that. Token, the crazy thing would be, imagine if the Patriots win the division this year. They have $800K in Jarrett Stidham, $1 million and a couple of peanuts in Brian Hoyer, and $1 million. Imagine if Jarrett Stidham wins this division for them. They have like $2.8 million invested in quarterbacks total. That is unheard of in today's NFL. And that would just be Belichick genius all over again.
Yeah, I mean, you could label him as like a chess master after that. I mean, it's so ridiculous. But, I mean, I liked the Bills even before Brady was shipping down. But, however, who knows? I mean, they still have life. They still have probably a top 5, maybe top 10 defense in the league. I mean, who knows with the offensive line how it's going to treat whoever's going to be behind the center, and going to be an interesting one for sure.
Well, now the Patriots on Vegas Insider 25-1 to win the Super Bowl right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's, including if that's factored in with the Cam Newton signing, but is there any quarterback, obviously we'd probably rule out Brian Hoyer, but between Stidham and Cam Newton, is there any, I don't think 25-1 is high enough.
No, even with Newton, unless if it was Newton like around his prime or something, but yeah, I just don't see it happening. And for 25, I see no value in there. I mean,
they're plus 140 just to win the AFC East. They're literally right behind, according to Vegas Insider, Buffalo is 130, plus 130, and New England is plus 140. Dolphins and Jets are both 7-1.
Yeah, I've got William Hill right here, and it's more or less in line with that. Bills at plus 125, Patriots plus 140, Dolphins plus 650, Jets at 8-1.
They're going to fuck around and win this division, either with Cam or Stidham. I'm telling you.
It would be unbelievable if they did. I don't see it. I'm trying to find is William Hill. Yeah, William Hill has a line. William Hill, you're saying Vegas Insider has a 25-1?
Yeah. Right now, Vegas Insider. I believe Vegas Insider uses sportsbook.ag. I could be wrong. They may have changed that. But yes, as of right now, they are with the Minnesota Vikings, and the Indianapolis Colts and the Steelers at 25-1.
William Hill has them at 18-1.
Jeez.
So there you go.
Which is along with the Packers, Eagles, and Seahawks all at 18-1.
Those 4 teams, I like the Packers the most.
That's crazy because Vegas Insider has the Packers at 28-1, and it has the Buffalo Bills at 28-1. I gotta see where these numbers are coming from.
Yeah, that has to be an overseas book, probably.
It probably is. If I remember correctly, it used to be sportsbook.ag.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it now. I mean, it has the Chiefs at top at 6-1, Baltimore 6.5-1, and then all the way down to Jacksonville at 150. Yeah, this one is interesting. Maybe if you like Green Bay, go offshore and get them at 28-1.
Yeah, I don't like Green Bay, but I mean, out of those 4 teams,
I mean,
like
Green Bay
the most.
was 1 game away from the Super Bowl last year.
They were, yeah.
So I don't know. Anyways, so all right. Well, let's wrap it up here with a prediction, so to speak. Obviously, it's way too early. Things may happen. A season may not even happen. But who starts the most games? We did this with Cam Newton and Kyle Allen last year.
Yep.
Who starts the most games for the New England Patriots out of Hoyer, Stidham, and Newton?
Oh, I'll take Newton.
I was going to say Newton as well.
All right, just for devil's advocate, I'll take Stidham.
All right. Hoyer for 13 games. Let's go, baby.
Hey, that'd be ideal for you, Spike.
You know, there are worse options than Brian Hoyer. Nathan Peterman still has a job.
Ooh.
And Colin
I forgot
Kaepernick.
about that guy.
You could have like Dan Orlovsky or whoever it was that ran out of the end zone for
Yes.
safety.
He's been on ESPN for the last couple of years. God forbid
Yeah.
he has to come out of retirement.
Oh.
Fuck it. Give me Trent Dilfer.
All right, I'll take Brian St. Pierre.
Ooh. Actually,
Remember that guy?
Yeah, from Boston College.
Boston College. His dad taught me driver's ed in high school.
That explains a lot.
Bam.
All right, let's thank the last bit of sponsors here before we wrap it up. If you're looking for the best and most delicious barbecue in Albuquerque, New Mexico, then please make sure to check out Fat T's Barbecue. Their menu includes smoked prime Angus biscuit, bone-in pork shoulder, chicken quarters, etc., with delicious sides such as green chili cream corn, mac and cheese, and Borracho-style baked beans. You know what Borracho style is? I don't know what those are.
No
I
idea.
have no idea.
They sound good, though. If you're in Albuquerque, they will deliver vacuum-sealed meat by the pound for free. Check them online at fatteasfood.com. Also, the OG sponsor, ChaiPoker.com, founded in January of 2016 as an organization dedicated to poker and charity. Chai is the Hebrew word for life, and it is often used in the Jewish culture. So Chai Poker is a combination of life and poker, a.k.a. the poker life. If you've had a big tournament score recently, please consider making a donation to ChaiPoker.com. All right, boys. Cam Newton's a Patriot, so we'll see how this goes. All right.
Until Belichick trades him.
Yeah.
With the 31st pick in the NFL draft.
No! Now, they're losing a pick for the fucking filming of the Bengals of all goddamn teams. I don't think it'll be a first rounder, but they're still losing a
shouldn't
pick
be a
because of it.
first. Yeah. Well,
I could see as high as 4th. Realistically, it should be like a 5th or 6th, though.
they got to cut down on filming cheerleaders. They really do.
Yeah.
All right, for Spike, for Token Tony, I am Aaron. Oh, also for the audio version temporarily of Bobby Digital, I am Aaron. We appreciate you listening. We will catch you on the next one.